Hello, listeners. Welcome to Whisper Tales. Today's story is Revenge Served Cold, a tale of long-planned retribution. The rain poured in heavy sheets the night Alexander Kane lost everything. His best friend and business partner, Richard Langley, had sold him out. Their company, once built on trust and brotherhood, was now Richard's alone. A forged contract, a team of ruthless lawyers, and a backdoor deal left Alexander penniless and humiliated. But Richard's betrayal cut deeper than financial ruin. Alexander had trusted him, confided in him, only to be discarded like a pawn. That night, standing outside his empty office with nothing but a whiskey-soaked shirt and a handful of memories, Alexander made a vow. He would wait, he would plan, and one day, when Richard least expected it, he would strike. For the next 10 years, Alexander became a ghost. He moved to another city, took odd jobs, and studied everything from corporate espionage to psychological warfare. He built himself back up, slowly, quietly, learning how to manipulate the financial world from the shadows. Patience became his greatest weapon. He watched Richard rise higher and higher, accumulating wealth and power. Every newspaper article, every televised interview, every public scandal, Alexander devoured it all. But revenge wasn't just about ruining Richard financially. It was about stripping him of everything. His empire, his reputation, his family, and most importantly, his sense of control. Alexander returned to the city under a new identity. Adrian Mercer, a silent investor with an impeccable track record. Through a web of offshore accounts and shell companies, he infiltrated Richard's world, buying small shares in his corporations and slowly gaining influence. Then he baited the hook. A lucrative business deal, too good to ignore. A fictitious tech startup, promising innovation beyond imagination. Richard, greedy as ever, bit hard. With a few well-placed bribes, Alexander ensured the financial regulators would scrutinize every aspect of the deal, while insider leaks sowed seeds of doubt among investors. Within months, Richard's company faced an internal meltdown. As Richard's business wobbled, Alexander struck again, this time at his marriage. He had spent years gathering intel on Richard's wife, Victoria, and knew she suspected her husband of infidelity. Alexander fed her doubts carefully, anonymously forwarding hotel receipts and private messages that Richard had foolishly exchanged with his secret lovers. Victoria filed for divorce, and soon, half of Richard's empire was at risk. A well-placed journalist, bought and paid for, exposed Richard's unethical business practices. Fake audits and insider trading allegations flooded the headlines. Investors panicked, stocks plummeted, and Richard found himself under investigation. Through intermediaries, Alexander orchestrated a hostile takeover of Richard's company. One by one, Richard's board members abandoned him. His empire crumbled under the weight of scandal and legal battles. Richard was desperate now. With his company gone, his reputation shattered, and his wealth bleeding out in legal fees and settlements, he had nowhere to turn. That was when Alexander made his final move. He orchestrated a meeting, anonymous at first. Richard, now a broken man, was lured to an abandoned office building, the very same place where he had betrayed Alexander a decade ago. There, in the dimly lit room, Alexander revealed himself. "Surprised to see me, old friend?" Alexander's voice was cold, detached. Richard's face went pale. "No, it can't be." "Oh, but it is," Alexander said, stepping closer. "You took everything from me, and now, I've taken everything from you." Richard fell to his knees. "Please, I had no choice." Alexander smirked. "Neither did I." With one final stroke, Alexander delivered his last act of vengeance, a final set of leaked documents that sealed Richard's fate in prison for financial fraud. As Richard was dragged away in handcuffs, Alexander stood at the window, watching the city lights. Vengeance was a slow-burning fire, but now, for the first time in years, he felt truly free. It was over, and Alexander Kane was reborn,